Good to see you all. Thanks for not going to the boat cruise, juniors. Appreciate that. That wasn't going to be fun anyway. So my name's Brendan. You just saw Will. We both started the stand-up comedy club last year. It's called JHU Stand-Up. It's an official student organization. And it's what weird because sometimes when I have to register for a room, they'll ask me that. They'll be like, "Are you an official student organization?" I'm like, "Yes, we're an official student organization." And then sometimes I'll have to put there'll be a list, and it'll be like SGA, Student Venture Capitalist Fund Stand-Up Comedy Club. It's great. But yeah, we are real. We had a show last year, and this is our first show of the year this year, so we're really excited to have everybody here. We're going to do a couple things differently. It's not going to be all stand-up. We're going to have, someone's going to be doing improv, and someone else is going to be reciting a monologue type thing. So we're going to have a little bit of a diversity of stuff going on tonight. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming. It's going to be great. And I'm really glad you all came, because if you didn't, I'd be at home drinking Franzia alone. So I appreciate that. Weird thing about Franzia, so Franzia is bad wine, right? We all know it's bad. And we know that because there's a picture of wine on the box. You know, to remind you that it is in fact actually wine and not a weird third thing. And it's the thing that always gets me about it is that in the picture, it's in a glass. And I think Franzia is forgetting their main demographics, because if I had a glass, I would not be drinking Franzia. It's almost like a subtle reminder from Franzia, a little nudge, just to get your shit together a little bit. I can just imagine the ad. It's Franzia, come on, man, put it in a glass at least. Franzia, get a job tomorrow. Try that too. Franzia, maybe consider moving out of your parents' house at some point. Franzia, don't eat that 4-day-old leftover cheese. Franzia, you're 32 and you don't have a credit card even. Come on, what are you doing? So I had a realization yesterday. I realized that you're an adult when you walk into a Bed Bath & Beyond alone. Figured that out. Am I the only person who, when I hear the phrase Belgian jihadist, thinks, that sounds delicious? It sounds like a pastry, right? It sounds like a nice doughy, chocolate-filled, kind of just good evening, folks. For our dinner dessert special tonight, we've got a lovely Belgian jihadist, and that's served with a side of whipped cream and fresh raspberries. And it's, it's really an explosion of flavor. Everyone's trying to find it. It's great. Very highly recommended. So I just moved off campus, which is exciting. I love my apartment, but I don't really like my landlord so much. He's kind of a strange guy. It's not so much that he's a bad guy. At first I thought he was sleazy, but I think he's just really stupid. So it's not like he's trying to screw his tenants, he's just really bad at being a landlord. So I'll give you an example. We found out the other day that we have lead paint in our house, which is bad because the thing about lead is that it's really, really bad for you. And so when we found out, we gave him a call, and we figured it'd be a pretty simple thing. He's paint over it, that's all you really are required to do. And we called him, and he says this, and I quote, he says, "The thing about lead paint laws in Baltimore..." Let me stop you right there, Ben. How could there possibly be a thing about lead paint laws in Baltimore? What a ridiculous law to be taking umbrage with. But thing is, he was not done. So he continues, he goes, "I don't want to say that these lead paint laws are bullshit, per se." And I was like, well, that would be a strong position to take, my landlord. And so he proceeds to go on this 5-minute rant about how excessive the regulations are for lead paint in Maryland. And all the while, my roommate and I are just kind of staring at each other, jaws agape. And then he says the most amazing thing of the whole conversation. He goes, yeah, so I'll have it finished next week. Taken care of, no problem. Which means that he went into the phone call totally ready to do everything we wanted him to do. He just thought it would be fun to preface it with a 5-minute rant about how onerous the lead regulations in Maryland are. He didn't even have an agenda, he wasn't trying to stiff us. He just I guess wanted a platform to share his views politically on the whole lead situation. Great guy, our roommate, or our landlord. So what else is happening? I just got 2 pet hamsters, so that's pretty fun. They're great. They're into parkour. They climb up to the top of the cage and then they jump off and they yell, parkour. What else do they do? So they used to be tiny when we got them. They were like little babies, and then they've been growing a lot, fucking huge now. And they're also getting smarter, I've noticed. So what they've done, they established a pee corner, which is the first step in Planet of the Apes, if you remember. And then it's all downhill from there. Then they take over civilization, and it's bad. So what I decided to do to counteract this is I'm just giving them little pieces of my pot brownies, so that if they ever try to hatch a plan and they're sitting around and going, how are we gonna get out of here? Oh my God, is that the wheel? Oh dude, I fucking love the wheel! Oh yeah, man! Fuck yeah! And it was tough too, because when I tried to take it away from them later, they were like, come on man, I have glaucoma. Well, that's not cool. It's not even recreational. And I don't even know, my hamsters apparently speak English for this joke. So you guys have heard of, about Lewis and Clark, the explorers? Yeah, Lewis and Clark explored the Western Territories after Louisiana Purchase. So I found out recently that they were on trail for 28 months. 28 months, that's a really, really long time to be out in the wilderness. And I don't know about if you guys have ever been out in the woods for a really long time, but sometimes when you're out there, things can get a little bit weird, if you know what I mean. Just think about it. These were 2 young, strapping, virile, young explorers in the, prime of their sexuality. And, when you get out to our beautiful Western Territories and you look out at the sprawling landscape and the thrusting trees and the just kind of supple valleys. Really, the landscape just kind of just throbbing with energy. Maybe one night, Clark and Lewis were just kind of laying together, and Clark thrusts a muddy arm out, and Lewis goes, "Clark, no!" And Lewis is like, "Shut up, I need this." I'm just saying maybe that happened at some point. I don't know. We don't, the historians don't know, or they won't tell us, at least. But yeah, 2 American heroes right there. That's the moral of the story. All right, those are all the jokes I have for you guys tonight. I'm gonna introduce our next performer. He is a freshman, so you can make fun of him. He's a freshman, and he looks pretty greasy tonight. All right, let's do it. Jack Sylvia, everybody.
I'm Jack. I'm from the suburbs, so I'm kind of a pussy. I love living in Baltimore, though. It's just sort of a tough city. I was driving around the other day, and this kid, maybe 7 years old, steps out in front of my car. I slammed on my brakes, almost killed him. And instead of thanking me for saving his life, he flipped me off right to the face. And I was kind of impressed, but I didn't know how to react. He's a little kid. I can't flip him off back, so I did what any reasonable adult would do, and I ran him over. So I started using Tinder recently. Problem is I'm really honest, so I'm bad with women. I was talking to this one girl. She was pretty cute. It was going well. She asked me what my biggest turnoff was. So I thought about it. I tried to come up with something fake, but I had to tell her the truth, and I sent it. AIDS. I didn't get the date, but probably dodged a bullet on that one. So I don't like sports. Sports are pretty bad. I don't take them seriously, but a lot of people do. Football, I feel like all Americans take too seriously, and I feel this way because I was at an Army-Navy game last year, and half the crowd was cheering, "Go Army, beat Navy." The other half, "Go Navy, beat Army." I thought it was strange that we would cheer against our armed forces over a football game, so I started cheering, "Go Army and go Navy and beat ISIS." So I'm a really liberal guy, you know, feeling the burn, really accepting of all types of people, but there's just this one group I can't reconcile my spiritual and religious beliefs with, and that's hammock kids. You know, like kids who set up hammocks on the quad and sleep in them. Maybe I'm ignorant, but I just don't get it. I've never woken up and thought, damn, it's a beautiful day out. I wish I was asleep between those two trees in public with no back support. Now, don't think I'm bigoted. You know, some of my best friends are hammock kids. Thanks, everybody.
How about that guy? All right, let's go, Jack. Hey, you can't say hammock kids, man. That's their word. It's not cool. All right, so your next performer, you may know him from the Buttered Niblets. He's a really funny guy, and he's going to be doing some improv for us. So please give a warm welcome to Matt Moores, everybody. All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna sit down. I really have to pee. Hi guys, how are you guys? So I'm trying a new thing where I just field the audience for subjects, and then I talk about whatever subject they suggest. So could I have a subject or a word?
Chair.
So chair makes me think of absurdism because there's this play by Ionesco called The Chairs, and I'm sitting down in a chair right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cool parallel to make. And parallels make me think of geometry, and in high school I failed geometry. And that was really tough because I had a Russian math teacher and she was really mad at me. And I was like, whoa, when she got really mad, she was like spitting all over, and my parents were afraid of her too. Could I have another subject?
Piggy bank.
Piggy bank, that's funny. I think I'm a little bit like, you know when these three guys in the front walked in and like the whole aura like changed a little bit? I think I'm feeling it like second half. And yeah, I'm sorry. But piggy banks are making me think of college savings because I'm graduating college soon and it's really scary. And I think I might move to China, but I'm not really sure what I want to do. But that's what I'm banking on right now. Ooh. I didn't even plan that parallel. Parallels geometry. Oh my god. This is all coming together. Okay, can I have another subject?
Robots.
I love robots. Does anybody? Who loves robots? Yeah, robots are really great. Have you guys seen that movie Ex Machina? Where that robot is like going to like kill that lady, or the main guy, and she's like basically this murderer robot. I think that's funny to think about, like if we actually made robots and they tried to kill us, you would think like maybe you would have like a off switch or something, like a universal button that was like no more. Turn them all off at once, like a power strip, you know? And like, when you plug it into the outlet and then it's like 10 other outlets, you know what I mean? Could I have another subject? Lounge chairs? I feel like I already talked about chairs, but I guess lounge chairs are a little bit different. It's a little more relaxed vibe, like beaches. Ooh, I haven't been to the beach in a while. That really sucks. Next subject. Oh my god, that's my favorite candy. I love that so much. Laffy Taffy, you know, with the jokes on it. Yeah. I bet some of this material that these other guys are coming up with come from Laffy Taffy. I'm just kidding. It's all original. I'm just kidding. Could I have another subject?
Plaid.
Oh, I don't like plaid. Oh, Tara, I love your shirt. I'm sorry. I don't like wearing plaid myself. And Josh, your shirt is nice too. I'm sorry to make fun of you guys' shirts, but I don't like to wear plaid myself. Next subject. I'll do one more. Colostomy bags are pretty crazy. They're disgusting, right? I don't know where they go, you know? Could you put it anywhere? Because if you could put it anywhere, I would probably put it on my butt to make it look bigger, you know? Or my muscles, because I do not have a lot of muscles. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Matt, everybody. I actually take all my jokes from fortune cookies, so you're onto something. All right, so your next performer, he is a freshman philosophy major, and he just came from the Ellen DeGeneres lookalike competition. Welcome to the stage, please, Matt Scotty.
My shirt's been on inside out all day. I don't give a fuck. There's more important problems. Donald Trump might be our next president. Let's think about that. How the fuck is a man whose only solution to problems is the wall just got 10 feet higher gonna run a fucking country? I mean, imagine if that's how conflict resolution worked everywhere. Imagine you're like a little kid fighting with your mom, like, Mom, I don't want to go to church. The wall just got 10 feet higher. Like, I don't know where the wall is blocking, but it's much harder to get through now, so that's not good. You know, Trump's candidacy has brought race to the forefront of American politics again. A lot of us like to think we live in a post-racial society. I think that's bullshit. I mean, games are racist. Let me give some examples here. With fun childhood games, Duck Duck Goose. Everyone loves Duck Duck Goose, where you chase the outsider until they find a hiding place. I used to play a lot of chess with my dad. I didn't get the rules at first though. When I was the black pieces, I'd try and move, and he'd be like, no, son. White always moves first. My favorite thing to do as a kid, I was kind of a nerd, I like to solve Rubik's Cubes. You know, Rubik's Cubes are great. You take these well-integrated cube communities, and in the fewest number of strokes, you separate all of the colors on the separate sides so they don't mix with each other and make the schools worse. And I guess that at least makes sense now that whenever I play with my childhood friend Jose, whenever we play Red Rover, we always stack 10 feet more of people on top of us. He was really bad at Red Rover, Jose. Poor kid. So I like to talk about this kind of stuff though. You know, they mentioned I'm a philosophy major. I like to think about the big ideas. An example of a personal theory I have is that dick size has steadily decreased over human history. I'm very adamant about that theory for several reasons. And you might think, shut the fuck up, that's not philosophy. Well, my joke's not over, so fuck off.
So the philosophy behind it is, if you look over the history of philosophy, go back to like ancient Greece, these fuckers just had to stand up and be like, everything's water, and they had followers for like centuries, man. And like these days, I can't even get through like half a page of one of the books I'm supposed to read. And I think the only explanation is that these guys' dicks are just so small now that they have to overcompensate with so many bigger words. And I call it the Great Reduction. I was proud of it for a long time. The theory really came to a crashing halt when my ex-girlfriend broke up with me. She did it outside of my Greek philosophy lecture. She said, "Matt, I'm breaking up with you. You're bad at philosophy and your dick's small." So that was hard to hear. Another theory I have that's been going better for me is that all old white men, I'm sorry, this guy knows, are racists. I'm gonna be a racist someday. I mean, all old white guys have to be racist. It's in there, it's genetics or something. I'm a philosophy major, I don't know why. I just tell you that it is. So I believe this pretty adamantly, and that's why it was really hard for me. I was walking down North Charles Street one day, and I was stoned off my ass, and I see these two old white guys that look like they're from like a farm or some shit with Black Lives Matter signs. And I was pissed, you know, I was just dumped, the Great Reduction is out the door, like I need this, okay, this is all I fucking have. And so I go up to these guys, and I'm pissed as fuck, and I'm like, what the fuck is up with this? And they're like, hey man, we're Quakers, do you want to join our protest? And I was way too high to say no. I had a sign, I was there for like an hour. These guys are lovely. They changed everything that I thought about who I'm gonna become. You know, there are these people out there, you know, protesting, like fighting the good fight, and I was so scared though, because this woman approached us at one point, and I have to admit, one of the signs that the guys had was an All Lives Matter sign, and that has some like iffy connotations within the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, it's like, of course, but not everyone's oppressed, whatever, you get the idea. And this lady comes up and just sort of starts to question this, like, what's up with the All Lives Matter sign? And we're like, I don't know. And she's like, you know what it should say? And we're like, Black Lives Matter? She's like, Hebrew Lives Matter. This is this short black woman with a giant pit bull. She's like, yeah, it should say Hebrew Lives Matter, because the original Hebrews are people that looked like me. And she grabs this medallion on her neck, and her dog had one too. I guess he converted. I just didn't know what to do. I was like, what the fuck are these guys gonna say? And they were just so great about it. They're like, oh, you're right, we have so many signs in this box, but we'll have to get another one. I mean, I was so ready to throw this theory out. And then my roommate, Alejandro, walked up to join the protest, and they started to build a wall out of the signs, so that was hard to see. I think eagles are bored. Eagles have to be bored. If you've ever seen eagles fight, you know that they're bored. Eagles, these flying killing machines, they have talons and beaks and all this shit. They fight by interlocking one talon with another eagle's talon at high velocity or at high altitudes and spinning really fast until either they both hit trees or one of them flies away because they're a bitch. That's how the eagles fight. How did that happen? When did the High Eagle Council say, and your punishment is trial by spinning? Ah! Like, when did that become the generic punishment in eagle society? I mean, and you might be wondering, why do you know so much about eagle fighting, and so specifically? And I'm not sure, has anyone heard of Animal Fight Night? Animal Fight? Fuck yeah, okay, he knows. This is the best thing on television. I think, as someone who loves to watch people fight, you're not allowed to like to watch people fight, by the way, that's really bad. You can't like to do that. So what this gives you is a bunch of animals fighting each other over like mates and food and stuff. It's this crazy show. I saw like the eagles on there. There's like these elephant seals, man, and elephant seals, the way they work is there's like this giant beach master, and it's like the biggest, fattest dude on the beach, and he gets all the girls. Great society. Love that society. He gets all the girls all the time, and the only way you can try and take one away is to go up and fight him. And elephant seals, they go up to each other, and they go like this, repeatedly, until one of them dies. I don't know specifically the cause of death, but it's a crazy, crazy fighting style. It just makes me happy. I mean, I sympathize as someone who has nearly no sex. But I'm just glad that I don't have to butt heads with the biggest dude at frat parties every time I go. That's just something I'm happy about. Animal Fight Night, it makes me wish that human fighting was more interesting though. We're more strategic groups, you know, it's like, you pissed on my yard, the wall just got 10 feet higher. Thank you guys.
Keep it going for Matt, everybody. All right. That guy really likes watching animals fight. All right, next up, your next comedian, she's going to be reading, or rather reciting, a scene from a screenplay, and it's going to be from the perspective of Satan. So, without further ado, give it up for Kat Lewis.
You know, hell's not this fiery cesspool you people make it out to be. You have all of that puritanical Jonathan Edwards crap about God flicking humans into the flaming pits of hell, the way you flick a spider off your desk. That doesn't happen. Hell's actually not that bad, and I'm not just saying that because I'm its overlord or whatever. Yes, from time to time, bad things happen to its residents, like a limb gets chopped off or they get turned into serpents, but that's life, right? Or afterlife, I should say. Besides, those limbs almost always grow back, usually. Sometimes. Okay, that sounds bad, but for instance, Hemingway's my neighbor. Last week he went to go visit Van Gogh in the 7th Circle, and I watched his cat while he was gone. This is adorable little thing with 6 toes, polydactyl or something. My kid loved it. He's begging me for a cat now. Isn't there a saying, love thy neighbor or something? We got a lot of love to go around here in hell. Except for my wife. She just goes on, nagging me all the fucking time. Lucy, you forgot to pick up milk on the way home. Lucy, when are you gonna clean the gutters? Lucy, you shouldn't have cursed that poor baby just because her mother pissed you off. Lucy this, Lucy that. I hate it when she calls me Lucy. And if I ever try and say anything back to her, Lord help me, because what they say is true. Hell hath no fury like a woman fucking scorned. Thank you guys.
But Mrs. Satan isn't here. All right, so we got 2 more performers for you, and then we'll let you get out of here and do something better with your night. So next up is who's the next up? I can't imagine who could be. Next up is my co-president, Will Cameron, and he manages to look like both Beavis and Butthead. Give it up for Will Cameron, everybody.
All right, can we get another round of applause for that recital? That was incredible. That was really good. Now back to the white guys, yeah! They know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah, my name's Will. I'm not gonna go that long tonight. I'm just gonna tell you guys a very intricate story about the struggle between a young 11-year-old boy and the monster that is puberty. Every man in here was an 11-year-old boy at one time, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And ladies, take notes. Every 11-year-old boy goes through this phase where they just whip their dick out and put it on stuff, you know, like, you know, like they just kind of like gotta see what it feels like. Sometimes it's like a dominance thing, like, no, countertop, you're mine. But, no, so like all 11-year-old boys do this, and for 7 years I was a counselor at Boy Scout camp, which is just like 400 11-year-old boys, right? So you take them out of this environment where they can literally just put their dick on anything, like, right? So you take them out of that and you put them with a bunch of other, you know, dudes out in the middle of the woods. You can't exactly run around and put your dick on everything, because like if you do that at Boy Scout camp, then the Scoutmasters get too excited and they have to sit down. It's crazy. But no, I'm kidding. Like honestly, that wouldn't happen. But what would happen is like if one kid was just going around like, I'm gonna touch this log, I'm gonna touch this stick, you know, just like everything. Like if an 11-year-old kid did that, then the next day, like 4 13-year-olds would corner him in the shower and just like flick him until he stopped. Like, just stop putting that on shit. All right? You put that on my tent last night, you dick. And that's always like the weirdest thing, because then like, you know, this kid comes up and he's like, Mike flicked my dick in the shower house. And you gotta go get Mike and bring him out onto the pool deck and be like, all right, Mike, you flicked Tommy's dick. Now everybody in your troop has to go down and just flick your dick. That's the only way that we can fairly work this out. It's really awkward as like an adult. Oh, it's so weird. No, where was I? Right, 11-year-olds Boy Scout camp, right. So you take them out of their environment and they're still going through this roiling mass that is puberty, just trying to do something, you know? They have no fucking clue what puberty is or sex, so like they just do whatever feels good. And some of it's really weird, like insanely weird. And this is 100% completely true story. None of this is made up from this point on. So I'm in the dining hall one afternoon. I'm like, tying some trash or some bullshit. And I'm on one side. And this kid, Tommy, who he had been there for a couple of days, so we knew who he was. And he walks up to a friend of his. Let's say this is a friend, so you're gonna be his friend. All right, so Tommy just walks up and goes, okay. Punch him in the butt. Excuse me? Punch me in the butt. And Trevor's like working on his leatherwork project, and he's like, no, dude, like, why do you want me to do that? And Tommy's just like, no, come on, just watch, just punch me in the butt, you know? So Trevor does it, you know? He's just like, the actual noise that came out of that child's mouth, 100%. Do it again. Not lying. Ask for it twice. And this is when like Trevor's getting a little weirded out, and he's like, nah, man, like, I just want to like work on my beads and shit. Like, my mom made me want to make her something. Like, don't ask me to do it again. Nah, come on, dude, just like one more time. Like, just like one more time. Come on, just like punch me. Like, come on. So Trevor like does it again. He kind of has to, and it goes like this. Oh, yeah. 100% true. This kid, 100% real. Not even lying. This is not a lie. This is the shit I deal with at Boy Scout camp. So this happens, and meanwhile I'm over here on the other side of the dining hall, just like, because I'm like 19. I'm supposed to like be in charge of all this shit. I don't know what the fuck to do. And so Tommy's just like, thanks, man. Like goes off to the swimming pool. Like, man, now that I got my butt punches in for the day, I'm good to go. So, I'm still like this, right? So then Trevor, who's sitting right there, he's just kind of like looking around. Make sure everybody can see me. He's just kind of like looking around, like, I really hope nobody saw me punch Tommy's butt. He looks around and we make eye contact. And he just like slinks out of it, like so ashamed, just goes away. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, for 5 minutes, I just stared at a bag of trash, just like I don't know what just happened. Like, I think all three of us just had an existential crisis. Like, I don't even know. Like, there has to be some reason why that kid did that, Like, I obsessed about this for days. Like why? Why would that ever feel good? Like, why would you ever want that? Just to punch somebody else to punch you in the butt. So, I gotta warn you, like, don't try it, because I did, and now it's the only thing that gets me hard. So, all right, thank you guys.
How about Will, everybody? All right. That guy didn't get hired back at Boy Scout camp. All right, your last performer for the evening. He is a senior, which means he's about to graduate, and he looks like every guy with a beard right now. Woo! Please give it up for Davis Einolf.
So as Brandon said, I'm a senior. I'm about to graduate. Woo! Yeah. You know what one of my friends asked me the other day? Oh, hey Davis, do you have senioritis? No, fuck you. I don't have senioritis, I'm a healthy man. And you know what the problem with senioritis is? People are like, oh no, I can't do my work because I just want to get done with school so I can go in the real life, so I go in the real world. I'm like, come on, man. Don't you know what you have? Don't you know what a party that college is? I mean, wanting to finish up college to go into the real world is like being, at dinner and eating your dessert, being like, oh, I really want to finish this ice cream so I can go wash the dishes. I mean, who wants to do that? Senioritis is like having sex with some girl and being like, oh, I really want to hurry up and come so I can ask her to leave. That's my favorite part. The best part's when I don't know her name. What the fuck? I mean, senioritis is like going to a party and being like, oh yeah, great party, man. Oh shit, it's 9 o'clock. I gotta call my mom and go to bed. Now I know this is Hopkins. I mean, that's what most kids do when they go to a party. But you get my point. Senioritis is basically saying, I'm done with college. I want to go do the boring stuff. But there are a lot of things you can do in college that you can't do in the real world without coming off as a little strange. Like in college, you can make out with some, total stranger while you're drunk in an unfinished basement that has like one working light hanging from a wire. And that's okay. In the real world, it's a little weird. In college, you can walk around, day drink from, can of hard cider and, pee in an alleyway, and that's okay. In the real world, you become my dad, who's doing it right now in the corner. He's the only guy drinking here right now. It's a little making me uncomfortable. But in college, you can have sex with freshman girls. You can have sex with people who, when you look up their Facebook account to, Facebook stalk them the night afterwards, the most recent picture they have is their prom photo. But in real life, that's fucked up, man. Like the second you get out of college, that's not okay anymore. I mean, honestly, it's like one of those Soviet Russia jokes, like, in college, you cram for exam, but in real life, exam cram you. That was a prostate exam joke, in case no one got it. But that's my point. When you get out of college, you grow up, you have to do things like prostate exams. And maybe in college, you experimented a little bit with butt stuff. With your friend Steve, that one night when it's just the two of you and you're watching Night at the Roxbury. And, gets to that one point where the bouncer says to the two brothers, he's like, are you two brothers? And they're like, no. But right before they say yes, Steve pauses it, and the next thing you know, you're covered in oil. I'm getting sidetracked. And my point is that maybe in college you experimented a little with butt stuff, but in the real world, it's mandatory. Honestly, senioritis, when people my age complain about it, it makes me mad. Because you know who has real senioritis? Old people. They're done with the real world. They're about to die. They're thinking, all right, well, I'm done with that shit. Time to do kickstands with you. But there are other problems in this world other than senioritis. I know I'm being, kind of self-centered, talking from a place of privilege. There are worse problems, like dick pics. Why does anybody want to send a dick pic? All right, let me break it to you guys. Take a lesson. Dicks are ugly. I said it. It's the truth, and I'll prove it. I won't prove it. You don't need to see that. But let me just tell you, long, short, skinny, lumpy, curvy, whatever, they're all fucking ugly. And some guys just don't get that in your head. And it's because the language of dicks has thrust its way and penetrated its way into our culture, into our very language. Children today are more likely to learn the phrase dick pic before they learn the phrase phallic fixation. And that's a problem. And then girls. Okay, let me break it to you, girls. Dicks are the pug of the human body. They're wrinkly and they're ugly, and for some reason, a lot of women love them. I just don't understand it. But guys, they don't think pug, they want to think anaconda. They want to have a huge snake flopping out of their pants, but if you get, with some girl or guy, and you whip out a fucking 12-foot long jungle beast that's going to strangle them to death, they're going to nope out of there right away. No one wants an anaconda. So guys are walking around with a fucking pugaconda in our trousers, and we think people want to see that. We think that we can put that up on the level with tit pics. All right, let me just say, there's nothing like a tit pic. Women have sweater puppies, guys have pugacondas, and they're not the same. It's in our society that they're not the same. A girl, if she wants to, here at college, could walk into her test, her final exam, wearing a low-cut shirt, push-up bra, bombshell bra, and the explosion, around her and the guys sitting anywhere within 10 seats brings their grades down 10 points. But a guy walks into his test with half of his dick hanging out of his fly, he gets put on a list somewhere. Like, that's not what you want. So there's a little bit of inequity here, but there are some guys who aren't willing to, admit it. They're not willing to think, all right, I'll accept it. Dicks are ugly, I'll keep it sheathed. I mean, there's a reason why God meant them to be put inside other things. But there's some guys who think that their dicks deserve to be shown to the world. I mean, look at this guy here. Like, look at him. He's sitting in the front row. Come on. This guy thinks that his dick is a masterpiece. He thinks that it's the fucking Mona Lisa of dicks. Well, let me tell you something about the Mona Lisa, friend. It's small, and the only people who touch it wear gloves. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
How about Davis, everybody? All right. That guy looks like a hipster trucker. Okay. I'm a little upset he blew up my spot. Now I can't do my 10-minute bit about my penis. Oh well. Next time. Anyway, that's our show for you, everybody. I hope you had a good time. Yeah, that's it. Have a good night. Thanks for coming.
We are accepting new members, and keep your ear to that ground for any upcoming shows and all that good stuff. Thanks.